Eddie, you started after it was going, so.
No, I was one of the original 20.
You are?
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, just like you.
So, well, I can say my first introduction to this was Elon gave me a call, and we have an organization that's called the Clam Bake, which Eddie's a member of also. And he said, can you get some of your clam bake boys in his southern accent to get to a meeting, and I'd like to talk to him about some of them being involved in putting on a ladies professional golf tournament here in Portland. So that must have been 71 then.
Yeah.
And so we went around and started thinking, well, what are we going to do? I talked to everybody, and they said, yeah, I'll come and listen. And then we also got talking about, well, I think that was the first thing. We got the clam bake people going.
Yeah.
And some of the people there decided to do this. And some said, no, this isn't my bailiwick. But we got quite a few at the first.
Well, I think the way the thing was started, my dad was involved with a group called the Trembling 20 in the late 50s and early 60s. And this was a similar model. There was 24 business leaders, and they brought in the men's professional tour from 59 through about 63 or 4. And Dad was a key cog in that wheel. The PGA Tour got too expensive for this group of individual business leaders, and at that time you made your revenue on ticket sales. It's just the flip of that. Now you make it all in sponsorship sales. And so it got too expensive, so professional golf went away in the city of Portland. Dad was still involved with the Evans Scholars Foundation, was raising money however he could, bag tag programs and all of this. But he still thought we had a place for professional golf, so he thought, well, how about the ladies tour? A little less expensive than the men's tour. It's got following. So he reached out to Bob, because Bob was Mr. Golf from the standpoint of the Oregon Golf Association and so on, and was very interested in golf. And so he said, so he took the same model that they started in the late 50s and just transferred it to the 70s.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of different groups of people. We all came together, one common denominator. We loved golf. We wanted to do things for charity. Evans was one, Oregon Junior Golf was the other.
Well, we started out, 24 of us. Is that
I think it was 20 of us.
20?
So I remember 20.
I think it was
Maybe it was 24.
Well, we all put $100 up, and that was pretty good. That was, $100 in those days, they were really tough. But it was, $100 was, so we put in, that's $2,400. We hired a secretary, did we?
Wasn't that Mary Jane Mallory?
Yeah, Mary Jean Mallory.
We started, and Dad asked me to join, and I was the youngest one. What happened was that we all had jobs. Somebody was in charge of grounds, or somebody was in charge of caddies, parking, whatever it was. And for some reason, because I was the youngest, I got in charge of, I'm going to call it grounds, but setup on the golf course. So I worked hand in hand with the LPGA staff. That means I had to get up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, go out and literally, we took 2 carts and put a hose between them, and we dragged the fairways to get the dew off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I mean, day one, the spouses have been very supportive.
Yeah.
And given their time, and quote, did all the administrative work that we didn't know how to do.
Yeah.
And the
That's
detail
right.
work. Mm-hmm. So so it's really been sort of a family affair, and Portland back in those days was a lot smaller than it is now, and those small now. But, and it became a big fiber of the community.
There's a lot of trickle down, if you think of that. Portland has been put on the map, and the golf map, but it's also the national map for this type of a tournament, and also the economy here. I mean, a lot of money is generated going around.
In 1985, so we're now 13 years, we really got a good product going and everybody's happy. there was a pro golfer in town by the name of Peter Jacobson, and he wanted to start bringing the men back here. Well, at that point, tournament golf people got upset because they felt that Peter's event's going to come in here and steal the thunder. As it proved out, Peter doing his thing really sucked up and even made this event better, because the two didn't really compete against each other, and they were scared that, you know, all the ticket sales would go to Peter's men's deal or something like that. But as it ended up, both tournaments became better and better because there was more attention to detail and harder work, and we got better at what we did.
Bought your own tickets.
Yeah, to buy
Well, think of this. We started out with $100 each. Our total purse the first year was $25,000. You'll see that in this program. Total purse, $25,000.
So it's come a long way.
And so we were more sweating that one than any of them, that for $25,000. In fact, the greatest quote I thought in one of our meetings, it was one of these, well, we're not going to make it, and we're going to probably have to kick in some more money. So Bob Hedges raised his hand, and he says, what about having the wives all meet on Saturday and bake cookies, or on Friday, and bake cookies, and we'll sell cookies on the weekend. We'll have levity and everything. But it was good fun. It was good, hard fun.
It was a lot of work. There was no question about it. We worked hard at it, and we, I think because, I'd have to say with my dad and Bob at the top, the devil's in the details when it comes to running a golf event. And they were very good about knowing how things should look and how they should feel. And I think that's why, in the beginning, since day one, that's why the ladies love coming back.
Yeah, they love it.
Because we were detailed. You know, the bleachers, if they were 1 foot off, they had to be moved. But he was a great father. He was a very good boss, because I did work directly for my father for a number of years. So he was a mentor from the business standpoint, and for the most part, he mentored me as a business guy coming up. The part about the son was left at home.
Yeah.
And thirdly, he was a very good friend. My dad was a friend of mine, besides being my father. And there were times where I needed somebody to talk to, from the standpoint of on personal things, but I didn't want to get into father and son relationship. I wanted to get into, you're a friend of mine, help me out, what's your suggestion? And he was very good about that. So he was a great father, great business leader, and a great friend. And I think that's a unique thing.
Eli was a great guy. Eli, and I sort of felt like he was my second father. He was just a very dear person, and tough when he had to be tough, and very easy.
He could have fun when he wanted to have fun.
Oh yeah, he's just a great guy, and you sort of enjoy working with all these people. It was just sort of a congenial blending of different personalities and so forth. So we've got our pleasures.
He had a very good personality. He was fun, he was friendly, smiling. Could be tough, as Bob said, but he had fun. He loved having his beers with these guys and his friends, and his passion for golf spilled over into the Evans program, which spilled over into how can we raise money for charity and Evans, and that was, let's put on a golf tournament, let's get together and do it, and he carried that out throughout his career.